This is what you'll see when you first start up Jupyter Notebooks. It's pointing into my Dropbox right now where I've got a lot of different directories I can go to. And if I navigate down my Dropbox through the active parts to get to my content, my M1 Getting Started lecture, I'll find that I've got this first ever, that's where I've stored the Arduino code, and I've got this FirstEverPython IPYNB IPython notebook. That means it's ready to be opened by Jupyter Notebooks. So I can open that notebook. And once I open that notebook, I'll see an example. This is what I had already saved there, and this is the example that you'll see online. Now, first off, each element in this notebook is a cell. So these are all different pieces of the notebook, and we can edit each of them separately. So let's go to this top one. If I double click on it, you'll see the underlying content of the cell, and this pound sign, hashtag sign here, indicates that that's a first order heading. And this is a second order heading. And this is just some text. So this is Markdown. It's a very simple language for being able to write some text and describe what's going on. So if I go up here and I press the play button to just start that cell, then it formats it. There's my first level heading, second level heading, and some text. In the next cell, which hasn't run yet, I've got a bunch of directives and some import statements. This one tells the Matplotlib library to put whatever graphics it's going to put in line. That's what's happening down there. I've got a graph right in the middle of the sheet. These import statements import libraries into Python, into the Jupyter Notebook, that'll let you use special functions from, for example, NumPy. This is a numerical analysis library. Matplotlib, that's a whole lot of plotting functions, a lot like MATLAB. And so this is probably a collection that you'll put in just about every one of your Jupyter Notebooks. And I'll run that now. And it doesn't look like anything happened, but it's imported all those libraries to be ready for us. Likewise, when I push the play button on that cell, nothing happened because it was already formatted. Now we're in a cell that's actually going to do something. We've got some Python code here. The variable count is initialized as 11. The variable t is whatever's returned by this NumPy function, because I shortened NumPy to just NP up here, this NumPy function called linspace. And that would be a linear space, and it'll go from 0 up to 1, and it'll have count different elements to it. So we're going to get 11 different values between 0 and 1 arranged linearly. It sets the average temperature equal to 24, standard deviation of the temperature equal to 0.3, and then it creates a temperature array equal to the average temperature plus the standard deviation times some random number, and in this case it's using the NumPy random library and the function randn, which will produce a normally distributed random variable. So now what I've got is I've got two vectors with 11 points in them, this lowercase t for time and the uppercase T for temperature. If I run that segment, I'll get some new values. And finally, I'd like to see what they look like. I can plot them. Now the plot that's showing there, that's the old data I had last time, but if I run that plot function again, now it plots the new data. So I can see that I've got some random values in here. They do seem to have a mean somewhere around 24, and they do seem to have a standard deviation around about 3, at least as best as I can tell. If I wanted to see the numbers in detail, well, t, I could run that, and that tells me it's an array that has the values I was expecting. 0, 0.1, 0.2, and so on all the way up to 1. And capital T, I could run that one. And here are the numerical values that were generated by this code up here. So one of the really convenient things about Python is you can take this stuff and put it all together in little chunks and test each little chunk at a time and put any kind of commentary you want to in here where you can see what's going on. So this Python notebook is available on the course website. Download it, try it out, see if you can make it work in Jupyter Notebooks on your computer.